Greetings world citizens. The globalist agenda seems to have taken quite a blow with the British vote to exit the European Union, known as the Brexit. A majority of the good folks of Great Britain issued a strong message to globalist elites, that they are fed up with tyrannical enforcement of globalism as a whole. Nothing could express the sentiment of the British people than what one King World News listener from Yorkshire wrote in an email. Quote, "Please, please, please, do not listen to the distorted views of the mainstream media. Yes, immigration is a major problem, but not the reason why we voted to leave the EU. We as a people have demanded our country back from the unelected elites which have become our masters. An unelected EU government with no opposition, with the power to make our laws and determine how we live our lives. Immigration is a secondary topic, the economy is secondary. If we are worse off we will live with our decision. If we suffer, so be it. Our freedom and the freedom of our children is much more important. People have died in the millions to fight for this basic right. We have given a shining example of democracy to the world. We have put our country and our future above our individual interests. The British lion has awakened from a long sleep. Today I have never been more proud of the silent, decent Briton who stood up to be counted. Kudos to the citizens of Great Britain for a most valiant effort. However, make no mistake of it, globalist elites will not take this defeat idly. Expect some serious pushback. When one thinks of the sycophantic elite, the first name that comes to the minds of many is the infamous George Soros, a financier and unending manipulator of the globalist agenda. This, from the Reuters headline entitled, "Investor George Soros calls for reconstitution of the European Union after Brexit vote." Billionaire investor George Soros on Saturday called for thorough reconstruction of the European Union, in order to save it, even though he warned that Britain's vote to leave the bloc makes, quote, disintegration of the EU practically irreversible. Soros said the EU had broken down and ceased to satisfy its citizens' needs and aspirations. Nevertheless, he called for support to reconstruct it. Quote, after Brexit, all of us who believe in the values and principles that the EU was designed to uphold, must band together to save it by thoroughly reconstructing it. I am convinced that as the consequences of Brexit unfold in the weeks and months ahead, more and more people will join us. So, the pushback to reform a crumbling European Union begins. Let me just say this, if you believe in your nation's sovereignty and freedom, you want the exact opposite of what George Soros wants, period. The Washington Post reports in the headline, "These countries could be next now that Britain has left the European Union." European Council President Donald Tusk warned that Britain leaving the European Union could seriously threaten, quote, Western political civilization. It goes on to expound upon which European nations seem to be following Britain's abandonment of the EU. Natural News has the headline, Natural News called it, "Globalists now trying to steal Brexit vote by nullifying the results, democracy on the brink." And it reports, now we see exactly that taking place. As Breitbart.com reports, a Remain petition, that has reached over 3 million signatures is being run by robotic scripts, to artificially boost numbers. The petition is also attracting impossible numbers of signatures, from places that don't even have any real population living there. For example, 2,735 signatures have been submitted from British Antarctic Territory, where the total population is just 250 people, reports Breitbart.com. This is just a small example of the pushback. Expect the official globalist rhetoric to be relentless. The New World Order has taken a serious setback, and is steaming full steam ahead, to gain whatever it can from its losses. Finally, I would like to say, that citizens of the United States should consider the valiant effort shown by the good people of Great Britain, and form a similar effort to break free from the United Nations. The EU and United Nations share a common paradigm where tyrannical globalism threatens national sovereignty is concerned. The elite are backpedaling. This is not the time to relish a major but small victory, but to push on even harder. You need to fight for your freedom at all costs, or you will surely lose it. Good day to you now. Be strong of heart, for times are trying, and victory is still a long way off.